And we're on. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Project New Earth podcast. Today, I have a very special guest who's actually uh, he introduced me to many of the books of Dolores Cannon, for example. He's guilty of part of my so-called awakening, and spiritual development. He's a amazing person. He's an artist. He has many talents. His name is Raphael. Raphael, welcome to Project New Earth.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, Vasil. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
No, it's my pleasure. It's even you were one of the first people who I thought of course, to invite. And would you like to introduce yourself and tell my audience who is Raphael?
Um, well, I was born in Israel,
Mm-hmm.
and my professionally, I started my professional life at the age of 16 in theater and professional theater in Haifa Municipal Theater. Um, this took me to. It made me very clear that this was like my thing because I had no training or anything, and I played the lead, and it was very successful, and I felt at home, a feeling that afterwards when I'll start doing theater around the world, I realize, oh yeah, this is the feeling that I felt in the beginning. I feel at home. And so I did theater as as my profession. I left school and I joined the theater. I joined the Israeli army afterwards. I went to study because I didn't want to be one of these wonder kids that end up being um, doing a comeback in the 30th time with the same role. I felt like I have more to give. But I was always painting. I was always singing. I always wanted to play music. I was not really supported in playing music at home, so I had to do this by my own, on my own with friends and teach myself actually, which became even in painting. It became like because of traveling, I could not go, stop my career and go to an art academy. So I created wherever I was. So I started creating while traveling. And so I realized, okay, I will not do large murals now like Da Vinci, and so I'll paint with whatever comes under my hands. So this is how I started to work with recycled materials. So this is another thing that I'm doing. I'm I'm an artist, and my dialogue with my environment is through recycled materials that I use in my. I'm not going to a recycling place and collecting material. No, I'm using every. This is the clay, and this is the earth that I'm painting with.
Yeah.
Um, Telling the story of my time,
Mm-hmm.
with plastic, with mainly with plastic, because this lasts forever. This and stones. Stones maybe dissolve in water, but plastic, it will take a while. And we have a lot of it. And I feel as an artist that I'm contributing a bit to rethinking about what we see as garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I think that there's no other way. There's no other way. Either we stop creating plastic, or we learn how to create something out of plastic we continue. We have to learn how to live with this in any type of way. And my way is art.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do really big works because until Corona, I was traveling. I wasn't even 3 months in the same place. I had an apartment somewhere, but I was traveling, with traveling theater. So Corona came, and I started work suddenly. The things that because for these works, I have to collect things for years and years and years and years. And so I came to a point in my life with Corona that now everything that it's even connected to the Great Awakening. Everything that I collected until now, all the experiences that I collected until now, in 2020, I started to see how this is going to bring me forward. This I need, this I don't need, this doesn't belong to now, this will not bring me forward, this does just makes me feel that I'm not good enough. So this is behind me. You know, everything that we work on in the time of Corona now, inside I work with my outside as well.
Mm-hmm.
And um, just to finish the biography thing,
Yeah.
um, I enjoy doing things that are new for me.
Mm-hmm.
Even musically, I enjoy to listen to music that I know. It's a different type of excitement to listen to music that you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, it's connected to my childhood, where every record that came home was like a new world, you know. And until the next record came, this record was played to you know,
Yeah.
um, and this is something that we lost with MP3s and digital thing, because everything is very quick and everything is at the fingertips. So I made myself a sort of um, I could even call it regimen of taking the time daily to listen to music that I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I've this with YouTube, it's very easy because the minute uh, you find independent musicians and you find you know, bands that are not known, that you can support them like I do with artists. Like I learn how I'm I learn how to be an artist online through watching artists online.
Yeah.
You know, there's no school for that, and if there is, I'm you know, I'm not so much in a schooling system. I'm not so
Yeah.
much. I don't resonate so much with schooling. I'm observing is more my type of studying and doing, definitely. Um, this and you know, for the people who love animals, I have a connection to dogs. I used to breed Bernese mountain dogs in Austria for 10 years, and because I had a connection to the International Rescue Dog Organization in Salzburg, so I worked with them for like 10 years, um, working definitely with beginners. I was not in missions ever, and but definitely I worked with a lot of dogs, and this was a big part of my life until like 10 years ago, where I continued pursuing my artistic career. So dogs and animals, definitely, and plants are definitely a big part of my life. So just that's to complete the picture of who I am, what I'm doing in this
Yeah.
world at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And more, because I we've spoke many times, and we've done many things, and you have many talents, and something that because you said that you learn, you're not very uh on
Yeah, I'm not so much. I don't resonate with schooling. Yeah.
yeah, similar to me, because I I was the same. I always hated school. It just it because there are different type of learners.
Hmm.
People
Yeah.
learn in different ways, and in the school system they apparently don't know that for some reason, and they
Well, they have to. You know, this caricature of children that go like this line of
yeah, yeah,
moving line of children that go into school with a lot of ideas, and they all come at the same come out the same way. I mean, the we are just not easy to doctrinate, you know.
Yeah,
We have a different way of looking at things. We want to be a part of things. We don't want to be observers.
yeah,
We want
yeah,
to
yeah,
be we want to do a we want to be a part of things. You will, it's not that this is the way it goes. No, show me, you know. I
yeah,
want to
yeah,
experience it myself as children as well. I believe that you were the same. Um, it's a different way of looking at life. And for these people, it doesn't really matter what we learn. It depends who teaches it.
mm-hmm.
It's not so much what we, even, I don't know, for me, I think that people that are accountants are like supercomputers. I will not be able to sit and do accounting. I needed to do now in the past few weeks a bit of accounting. And I'm like, this is like torture, really.
For me, it's the same. Yeah,
So the people who can do this and be really sharp and focused doing that, and I know a few people that enjoy doing that.
yeah, yeah.
I find it like a superpower.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if we all judge all these people that love accounting, if you judge all of them just by loving accounting, okay, they're all. But if you just judge people by loving accounting or not, you'll find like, each one has got a different way of looking at it. And the same way is education. Now, the
Mm-hmm.
education system is not built for that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bit like a noise gate. You cut from here, you cut from here, you cut from here again, and then you get like a sausage in the middle of compressed knowledge that in the end, you just need to tie it in a bow and give them a degree.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't support free thinking.
No.
It does not support individuality. It does not support personal development,
Mm-hmm.
because personal development means that your set of goals is not for the company. It's not. Yeah, it's for you.
Yeah.
And I mean, the world is now changing to the idea, if you take care of your workers, that you benefit from it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Not all the world still implements that. We're still in some parts of the world that slavery is like the name of the game.
Yeah.
Uh, um, but definitely there's the times are changing for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Compassion finds a way,
Yeah. I think so as well.
like nature. I don't believe that evil is there to stay. Evil is there to remind us that we are good. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is a role play.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If the world is a stage, this is a role play, and we play the good, and they play the bad, and to remind everybody what is good, and then everything. Yeah, we go back. Is it? Oh, I remember. Wow, I hated you. I hated you so badly. I wanted you dead. Really, I really.
And
And our, you know what our mission is in this game, and our secret weapon,
what?
compassion.
Yeah.
The minute we send compassion to the people that we need to hate, it's a game breaker.
Mm-hmm.
This is like, oh shit, we're not equipped to deal with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We normally answer fire with fire, eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth.
Because that's what we're taught.
Yeah, 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 yeah. By people who don't know better, you
Yeah.
know.
Of course.
When I asked my father, after he apologized for doing something to me, it was just, it was clear that he will not make it. But it was just a matter of time. So he was, in a way, freed from his ego,
Mm-hmm.
and he just wanted to do a checklist of things that I need to speak to. Yeah, I need to do this and this and that, but I need to speak to, and he needed to speak to me because we didn't speak to one another for a long time before he got sick, and we had our differences. and he apologized actually to me that he behaved to me the way he did and he didn't know better. And this is the way he was treated.
Yeah, of course.
And I said, okay, did you like it?
Uh,
And he said, what? He said, the way your father treated you, did you like it? He never really thought about it, you know?
hmm.
He said, no, I didn't. And I said, so where were you? So I was actually raised by my grandfather that I didn't know.
Yeah.
So where were you? I mean, where is this? Where is the plastic? Yeah, that we talk about
Yeah.
between you and there's something missing.
I know
And
exactly what you mean.
he said, I'm really really sorry, but it was a lesson for me. You know, I have to thank him for that. Now that I understand how lessons are presented to you, you stop hating the people that you used to hate because you know, wait,
Thank you.
wait, wait. If you hate them, you didn't learn anything.
Yeah.
If you hate them, you don't love the place that you're in. That if you don't like the place that you're at now, then you have to understand how you got there. How you got there means you lost contact with yourself somewhere down the road if you don't know where you're at. If you know where you're at and you don't like it, it means that you took the wrong decisions knowingly. And there's still a way that you can say, wait a minute, I understand now. I understand. And now, okay, to hit the child with this ruler on his hand, this is not really a good idea. Maybe to talk to him would be better. My father used to do this to me. I hated that. Yeah. Would I do it to a child that I love? That I tell him that I love him and I will hit him? What will he understand from me telling him that I love him and hitting him at the same time? Wouldn't it make him be confused for the rest of his life like I am? You know, and you know, the minute you start, this is the great awakening. This is when people start to, ah, and it happens if you take the time to be with yourself, if you
Exactly.
take the time to acknowledge the fact that you're not perfect and there is a way out of it, if you take the time to stop the domino effect, you know, to step out of this chain to say, okay, I'm not going to do this, whatever, I'm not going to do this.
Hmm.
And it means to be more sensitive and responsible, which everybody is.
Deep down, yeah.
Doesn't matter what life throws at us. Actually, this is the thing. This is the thing. If we look at the game of life and we take it not as a stage production, like you know, all the world's a stage, and no, if we take it to a game, the game
Yeah,
of life,
exactly.
yeah. If we take it to this game, and you just need to avoid the bad guys, yeah, without hurting anybody, and you know that your secret weapon with the bad guys is to send them a heart, you know, cool, to help this, to help this, to help this, instead of shooting them, then boom, boom. And suddenly you see, okay, you earn a lot of hearts without even realizing. You earn a lot of lives without realizing.
Yeah.
This is karma, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't do it because of earning lives, then it loses it because the intention is very important. You don't do a
Hmm.
good deed in order to do a good deed. No, you do a good deed because you want. This is a part of what you do. If you do a good, oops, so if you do a good deed because you get something out of it, it's
You're missing the
not
point.
really you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is a bit like um, so. And the minute you treat life like this, it's easier to deal with assholes.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
because they you understand they don't live in my world. They live in their world, and their world is so bad that what comes out of their world is this. You know, this comes out of their world. You know,
Yeah.
this is the smoke that comes out of their chimney.
Hmm.
So
Exactly.
it's you know this is the smell that they have in their world.
Hmm.
This is how I treat people with comments and stuff. I say, wow. I mean, you shared with me something that lets me know things about you much more than you would love anybody to know. But the fact that you react to something in such a way makes everybody, you know, see who you are. And the worst thing is when people do it anonymously. It doesn't matter even what your name is. Even anonymously, you're an asshole.
Yeah,
Even anonymously, you live in a small, pathetic, dark, and loveless world. And there is a cure for that, by the way.
there's always
Send
this.
love. To send love. To say thank you. Thank you for showing me how not to be. Thank you, but I'm thankful for that.
Hmm.
Esther and Abraham talk about this. Thank the people that give you what you don't want, because it always shows you what you do want. This is what you want to concentrate on.
Yeah, yeah,
If you always concentrated on what you do want, and this is in your world, you don't have conflicts. But the minute you have doubt, you start to have representatives of that in your life. And it shows you, okay, I just need to tune. I just thank you. Thank you for showing. It's like these things in the road. When you
yeah,
start to fall asleep,
yeah,
these are
yeah.
the people, the annoying people and annoying things in your life.
Exactly. Yeah,
And very often they come to save your our lives. We don't even realize this.
exactly.
This is 2020 for me. This is why I'm so. People say, "Oh, I would just want to forget 2020," and I say, like, "Oh my God, I don't want to forget 2020." This is the time that I started to realize that things fall into place in my eyes. The things that I thought are conspiracies are taking place. The things that I thought that would never come, that I read in books like 1984, The Doors of Perception. They yeah, the Brave New World uh, are happening, are happening.
Hmm.
With variations. It's a bit like a Disney movie with variations.
Very small.
It's a production of sci-fi, channel.
Yeah.
But definitely you tell yourself, okay, there are some ways that I learned about this. These ways are not hidden. Okay,
Hmm.
these ways are not hidden. The way I came to Dolores Cannon, the way I came to Brian Weiss, the way I came to Sanaa Roman, Louise Hay, or whoever, to EFT, to healing, to whatever type of vibrational occupation.
Hmm.
Because now I understand, since everything is vibration, everything that we do is a vibration. If you're a nurse, you're a vibration, and if you're a painter, you're a vibration. You're just different manifestations of vibration, but it's all power that we use in order to exist, learn, and exit, and
Yeah.
continue. This is nothing here to hold. There's nothing to hold. It's like money from a video game. You can
Yeah.
be a millionaire in a
Exactly.
video game, and then you finish the video game. Oh shit! You got a coin for me? I need to pay the ticket in the parking place. It's this. It's nothing that you can really take with you. The only thing that you can really take with you, like in a video game, is the experience of playing.
Exactly.
And this is why we're here. And from people, I'm not really a gamer, but people who live in games online, um, these are real connections. These are real friendships. These are real connections,
Yeah.
way before they see each other in life.
Hmm.
So this should tell us, if it's possible technologically, it can't be possible biologically, which exists like millions of years before. If our DNA is not far away from trees, and trees communicate among themselves, telepathically. What? We forgot in the way we forgot how to be telepathic? No. We forgot how to grow another limb? No, we're taught that we can't. We didn't forget that.
It's in our DNA.
It's exactly.
People don't realize that our DNA is like a safe in a bank, which needs a key,
Hmm.
different keys actually. It's not just one, and each and every key opens something from that vault, from that
Yeah.
safe, and
Mhm.
it can be a disease. It can be something unpleasant if you use that key. If you use the key for disease.
Because if we take the allegory and change it a bit, okay, to a knob,
Mm-hmm.
okay, because a key has the tendency to open or lock something from opening. Okay, and the analogy of having a dial that you can, a knob that you can turn, you
Yeah,
can
those.
decide,
Yeah.
yeah, you can decide to turn it into whatever builds you. But the same knob, let's say love, okay? That everybody speaks about love. Take the knob of love. What's the opposite of love? The absence of love?
It's. I don't think it was hate. It was something
No,
else.
no, no, no. Hate has got to do with anger. But love, the absence of love is fear.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
The absence of love is fear. So we are on the dial between complete unconditional love, which is what we all, strive to, and the other side of the dial, which is complete utter fear.
Mm-hmm.
And somewhere in between, we are. We're not fearless, and we are not completely unconditional love.
Mm-hmm.
And it's our decision where we place it, and it's got a lot of factors how we place it. Not only our psychology, our lessons in life also, what we decided as a soul to achieve in this life emotionally has a lot to do with the construction of our psychic when we are here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the psychic is a bit like the chip that our psychological karma can work with.
Yeah.
The thing is, nothing is written really on a chip. It's just an information place, because you can always change your mind. You can always A mind is really like a memory stick,
Yeah.
and you can decide what's there.
Absolutely.
It comes with some defaults, yeah, and comes with some programs from very friendly providers, but you know they
Yeah.
they they have their own issues. They have their own viruses.
Yeah. It's like the. It's not the clear pure Windows
Oh, no, no, no,
when you
no. It's a
install
it's
it.
no, it's a used version. It's a used.
It's and
Yeah,
they come in when the Windows is already installed, and they put the first programs in there. You know,
exactly.
the uTorrent and all the.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, and
And they teach you how it was in the last operating system.
yes. Hmm.
They don't teach you how your operating system is. They teach you what they know from their operating system.
Exactly.
And if they are not aware that operating systems are something which is alive and changes with awareness, then they will keep thinking the same way they got from their parents when they were young, even after 80 or 90 or 100 years.
Hmm.
Because these programs, the minute you take it for granted that these programs are there to stay, not only to pass, because when they pass, it's like a um, um, sandpaper.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, every time they pass, they make up your mind. They make your mind. They may and you decide which thoughts you. Oh, okay. This place really. I like this way of thinking. I want to go deeper. Oh, which things are not really, not my thing, not my
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
This goes by, not my thing. Um, as an artist, I see it. As an artist, I see it's very easy to fall into something that you're comfortable of making. And then you can produce a lot of it.
Oh
And
yeah.
you feel, oh, I've been productive. You've been productive as a printer, maybe, yeah. But really, artist, did you challenge yourself with every line that you did? Did you ask yourself, if now this is the last line in the world that I'm going to do, I'm going to die afterwards, in which direction would it go?
Yeah.
And only then I know that I'm completely um, um, clear with whatever comes out of me. It's not ambiguous.
Hmm.
Not because I want to be remembered. It's not a question of that. I dropped that, I think. Because I think that there are many more good philosophers that nobody knows about than philosophers that became famous.
Of course.
Um, I left the thing of quantity versus quality a long time ago, and I say it as someone which is kind of prolific artist, but I don't look at this as creating art. I look at it as growing. As an artist, I need to grow. Doesn't matter where I am. In order to listen better to my environment, I need to hold a pencil in my hand and to do something, even if it's just doodling. And this
Hmm.
doodling, the fact that I don't know what it means now doesn't mean that I will not see a meaning of it in 20 years.
Of course.
It's like poems that I read poems that I read, read today poems that I wrote when I was 12. And it makes me look at myself in a different light because I didn't remember that, like looking at paintings that I did that I forgot that I painted.
Hmm. Hmm.
Oh my God, something that happens lately to me a lot because I started to open a lot of boxes that were stored for almost 3 years from three different studios that I had in three different cities, and I have like hundreds of paintings that I forgot about. I haven't seen them since 2000 and 2013. For 7 years, I haven't seen them for 7 years, and I forgot that I painted them. But since then, I've been, because I don't look back so much on what I painted, unless it's hanged on my walls, but I don't look back at it. I just
Yeah.
look at how I am in a dialogue with my environment. And there are things that are ongoing, like this work here, that is, I'm working on it for the past, I don't know, 7 months, and it's going to work. It's going to be work for the next, I don't know, 3 months. It needs to be 2.5 meters on 2.5 meters, and I'm like, I'll go for it. I'm willing to do it. I've got time, but I love the fact that it's not a must. I don't have to go in the morning to the studio to create because I have a commission to do. This is not still this. It's still the joy of creating like a child, which
Hmm.
is a different energy than an artist that sells his work.
Yeah.
It's a bit more naive,
Hmm.
and I'm not thinking about selling at all. I'm thinking about creating. I'm happy. I'm happy that that I can sit for an hour, and after an hour, there's something there that wasn't there before.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That creates a reaction in other people,
Hmm.
because it's all about communication. It's what we bring to the world.
But that's what art is in a way. It's not if you do it for oh I'm gonna sell this for that and that amount.
There
It
are people who work
becomes
like this. You know, again, relieving myself from judgment as much as I can. You know, I'm not a saint, but definitely putting my finger on the knob of judging, and it just that it doesn't move, that it's on zero. And I think of people have to do what they need to do to survive, and it's their free choice. It's not my job to look at them. It's not their job to look at me. Yeah.
hmm.
And it's the opposite way of thinking of, the other platforms that we are in a way forced to use as people and artists to do or today in order to be out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're not on Facebook, then you don't exist. If you're not on Instagram, you don't exist. You don't exist. It's as if only your online um, activities represent what you do nowadays,
Hmm.
and it's uh, it's even worse than judging someone by what he's wearing.
Yeah.
Uh, it's even a lower it's even a lower stage than that. It goes hand in hand with gossip and
Hmm.
this type of energy, which is very difficult for me to connect with, and this is why I have a sort of a um, I wouldn't say love-hate relationship, but I just don't have another saying for that. It's sort of love-hate, but I don't love or hate Facebook, but I have a sort of a in-out relationship with Facebook. I'm in or out, because after a while of being there, again I realized why I left, and when I leave, I feel so relieved, but then I start to get like uh, bad conscience about the fact that I'm not promoting anything that I can live off. So,
Yeah.
and I live today. I live nowadays. I don't live 100 years ago. I live today. So this dialogue, again, a knob. This dialogue between I don't want to have any type of connection with social media. What is Facebook? What is Instagram? What is TikTok? I don't know anything. Between this and sitting with four different phones, answering 40, 50 different people on every platform every day, a place that I was in. And I realized, wait a minute. Somewhere in between these two um, um, uh,
Opposites.
opposites, there needs to be a way, and I need to find a way, and I still didn't find it. I'm finding out this way in me. How can I be visible on Facebook enough to be visible and enough to feel that my privacy is still mine. So either just be on Facebook for an hour a day, like email. In the beginning, everybody was sending like 20,000 emails a day just because they could. Now, okay, we understood there's email in. There's also a possibility of sending an email. Wonderful, big fucking deal. Yeah. The next big thing will come. The next TikTok will come. The next, and everybody will go down. Oh, everybody will go down. Oh, sure. Did you see that? Did you see that? And then we'll, you know, I'm not right. I'm not so much a hype person. When people are hyped about something, I become suspicious.
Me too.
This is my instinct. I said, whoa, I said, whoa, 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 wait. Uh, and this is I'm not really connected to fashion. Maybe I had a conversation with a friend of mine, an artist from Hamburg, and she said we had a conversation about. For her, it was very important um, what type of brand she's wearing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I said I don't understand that. And we had a conversation about this, and it's not that I don't know that people are like hooked on brands, and it just never resonated with me.
Mm-hmm. Me too. I do understand why they do it.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
do understand the
yeah,
psychology
yeah.
behind it.
Me too, me too. So, but I learned, in earlier days, I used to it used to go directly to my ego.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at it. Now, because it's a mask. An ego,
Of
it's like a
course.
mask. Oh, look at these people. Oh, fucking this. I can play someone like this today, but I don't need to. I don't need to be someone like I can understand that this is some people need that. Some people feel better when they have. Yeah, okay. I don't have today. I don't have a problem with that. I can have a discussion about this in order to understand the hidden meanings behind having special brands on you. What
Yeah.
does it reflect? What does it energetically say about yourself? What do you say about yourself? That only with these brands you're worth more. So it means that actually, if you take the brands away, you're worth less. So what does it? What it's like? What does it really say to you? Not look, I'm wearing this. So what does it say? Why am I wearing this? Am I wearing this because I think this is nice, it's beautiful or because I think because it's a brand, because it's special, because and I can afford it.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, because everything is
There we
connected,
go.
you know? Oh wow, it's beautiful. How much was it? This is the first question. Um,
Exactly.
Um, uh, I know that even though I think the much more interesting story is why did you buy it? Yeah, or what does it mean to you?
Oh, because I like it. It's this color and it suits me like
Yeah, yeah,
this and blah
yeah.
blah blah.
But it also means that the reasons of buying are different. I
And
prefer
most
to wear, for instance, I prefer to wear something I made myself that didn't cost much really. But when I wear it, because it's two different types of gemstones that, uh, again, if everything is vibration, I believe in that. I prefer to put this on me than a piece of silver. It may be worth 2,000 times more, but I wouldn't feel any different. I would just feel like it's uncomfortable and heavy and itchy, you know? Um, or not. Maybe from experience, I tell you, yeah, I cannot like expensive things like gold and stuff. I have something. I think I'm allergic to gold or something. Every time I put like gold necklaces that I got presents from, I used like no no no, it's not it. I used to feel it's not for me. So I have them in boxes. I have them, the things that presents I got and stuff from my mother, my parents. Yeah.
it's a different. It's very hard to explain that to someone who's very deep into the where am I eating, what am I wearing, what car am I
I stopped
driving,
trying to explain because I realized it's not my job, first
and,
of all. A
and
lot of a lot of awakened people think that it's their job to awaken others. This is the first mistake that awakened people do, that they're so it's like um,
this is the beginner level of awakening.
yeah, it's a bit like telling your friends on your first sex experience. You're like you really have to tell your friends because you really
Yeah.
this it's the something blew my mind. I have to share it, and they look at you like, okay, so you're talking to angels. I think we need to hospitalize him. This is suddenly you start to realize with internet today, it's so much easier that you're a part of a community that has no borders.
Hmm.
A community which is beyond borders, beyond language, it's beyond.
Hmm. And it's it's connected with because we spoke before that I would like to talk about the to explain in
Hmm.
what me and you
Yeah,
understand of what
the great
what
the Great
is
Awakening.
yes, what is the
I
Great
think that
Awakening.
there are a lot of people who jump on the wagon of this term, the Great Awakening. What I understood from the information that I absorbed online in the past few years, I mean, the first one who spoke about to in the information that I read, the first one that spoke about the Great Awakening was Cryon, Lee
Mm-hmm.
Carroll,
Mm-hmm.
in 2000 and I think it was 2007 when he started to speak about the Great Awakening on Earth. And then I heard it in Bashar's material. I heard it in a lot of materials, and then of course 2012 came with the whole Mayan calendar and um, the idea that I got about the Great Awakening, and every person has got his own Great Awakening. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Is that there is a time that um, there is a part of evolution we need to take to be a part of, and in order for us to be a part of this evolution, we need to grow. We need to grow consciously.
Consciousness. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, not everybody needs to grow consciously. Just enough people in order for us to get into the next level of uh, it's not that we are going apart is ascending and apart is not. This is not that, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to I don't want to get into the Dolores Cannon material and the separate, parallel universes and separate universes, and because this is not directly a part of the Great Awakening, even though Dolores Cannon has material about the three waves of volunteers that came to assist the Great Awakening. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
everybody which is listening to this podcast and everybody which is interested in this material, um, not because it's hip, but because it's an inner calling,
Mm-hmm.
are aware of how easier it is today to speak about these subjects. It's parallel to, I don't know, 10 years ago. So
Absolutely.
we are in the midst of a great awakening, which is um, what happens to us when we are awake. We start to realize things that were not there before, which means a lot of things that were hidden will start to come to light. And it can be
Sorry.
Gesundheit. It can be either uh, negative things that come, the pedophilia ring and all this, or it can be again a knob, or it can be new abilities, new understandings, new pathways, new strands of DNA, new rearranging our cells, rearranging the way we perceive reality makes reality change and react to us. So the minute this is also a part of understanding. Yeah, a lot of the manifestation channels and material and speaks about the feeling behind the wish.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the energy that you send with the wish needs to be pure of any type of lower vibration and longing, lack,
Fear.
all fear, all these stain the wish, stain the energy that you sent into the universe. Um, and when people start to be aware of that, this is also a part of the Great Awakening. Now, the fact that we as souls decided to be here on earth at this time and to experience this and to assist this, because not only that we are souls that came to reincarnate here and decided to come here, we came as light workers, which means that we are the ones that will show the light to others. We have to show them not by telling them what to do, but by showing them an example how we are that they are not.
By
It
being.
means by being, exactly. It means that if I have a neighbor that is connected to the television from morning till night, he falls asleep with the television on. He's so afraid that he'll miss something about Corona that he falls asleep with the television on. Now, I try to explain to him, I'm not only talking about Corona, but just the vibrations of television being on for 24/7, and I got resistance,
Of course.
and I decided, okay, so I cannot show him what I mean by telling him, but I can definitely show him that I'm not losing my temper,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't lost my temper once for the past I don't know, 6 months that I'm back in Germany from Paris, 7 months, uh, and I'm much more aware of what's happening, and I'm much more aware of his energy. And he looks at me just, I know that you I know that you believe differently. I'm not gonna start here to talk about Corona, but I know that you believe differently, and that you don't believe what I believe, and yet you're not afraid. I know that you're not afraid, and I said, yeah, I'm not afraid because it doesn't work like this with with me. I will not be afraid just because people tell me to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a good teacher with this, doing this by the people that trained me to disobey, by telling me what to do so much that I learned, okay, I don't like this. I don't like when people tell me what to do just because they are in a position to tell me.
Yes.
Why is
Same
it like
here.
why is it like this? Because I'm like because I say so.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. Okay? Because I'm your father and you listen to me.
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm your son and you listen to me. This I always used to say that. And this is driving him crazy. I said, I didn't at the end he told me like I didn't used to answer to my father, because if I used to answer to my father, I knew I was dead. And I said I could just run quicker.
yeah.
Like I was to tell him what I think, and I used to run away. At a certain age, he was like already uh, around,
Yeah.
but I used to tell him what I think, and I used to, it reminds me. Remember the Pick of Destiny,
The
Tenacious D, the Peak of Destiny. Really?
well,
Oh, we've got some. It's got nothing to do with spirituality or nothing. This is just pure music and comedy music. And Tenacious D, Jack Black. You don't know Tenacious D?
I might have heard, but now when you're saying it, I
I
can't.
think they have like three albums or four. I don't know.
I
They have got three movies. Their last movies is just a cartoon that they made by themselves. It's really you have to know this. You have to know this. And make a note for yourself. Tenacious D, The Peak
yeah.
of Destiny. What's the second album called? Like I forgot. And the third one is uh, shit. I forgot. I don't know. I know all their material. They're fantastic. They're wonderful. So they have in the Pick of Destiny they have a character which is like a dangerous character, and they like he's got a wooden leg, a,
Hmm.
prothesis, yeah, and he walks very slowly. So when he wants to kill them, he says, "Come here, I want to kill you. Come here, come here, I want to kill you." So this was me and my father. I used to run away, and he used to like, "I want to get over here. I want to."
uh, um, b- earlier because you mentioned that it's not not everyone should be awake so the great awakening happens. And for the people listening, uh, so we are now what, like 8 billion people on earth,
Mm-hmm.
or probably going to 9, or maybe not now with the scary
Yeah.
virus.
Uh-huh.
But the number that's been in the all the ancient history and in civilization, you can find it in many different cultures. That's 144,000
Thousand.
people.
Mm-hmm.
Again, 144,000 people from 8 billion people. That's, in my opinion, it's we're already there. We're
Yeah,
past.
we did.
We're
We did. We
we're
did. We we did. Carry On speaks about this, and also Sanaya Roman speaks about this. We passed it in 2012. We passed the end times. Yeah,
uh,
everything which was supposed to happen in a certain timeline, because there were enough people to keep the vibration higher than this. Than, it's like, remember there is a game which is like physics game. There are two pieces of wood that are connected on one end
uh-huh.
to and a ball.
Uh-huh,
And
yeah.
you have to bring the ball to different holes just by holding.
Uh-huh,
Remember
uh-huh.
this?
Uh-huh,
Just
uh-huh.
by holding. This is more or less resonating with the vibration of what we're doing is always, we are the ones on Earth that that
Pull the strings.
mini work on where to drop the ball now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
If we would have been too little, too few,
Yeah.
we would not have enough power to then. We would have passed it to a different timeline, which is more destruction, more. Yeah,
Yeah, and something else that was, even though now it's so to say a done deal already, but the something that was important back then was that not only it's not like 144,000 people, uh, uh, let's say, awake, and they have to keep that, because it's not like today you're all positive and you're all
oh
love
no,
and
and then tomorrow, okay, thank you.
yeah,
No,
and
no, no, no.
tomorrow fuck you, you know.
It's a vibration that you keep.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But there are so many people. The thing is that
It's a bit like a resistance band, you know? Evil
yeah,
is like a resistance band,
yeah.
actually, if you think of it. If you don't condemn it, evil is a resistant band for the muscles of the good.
Yeah.
And then everything becomes clear. And then you don't condemn everybody, which is bad, because they know they present, they are a part of the system that makes you better.
Hmm.
Um, but try to explain this to people that their loved ones are in the hospital, and I it's difficult to start to explain this to people that haven't made the baby steps in under, in in understand or learning
How the universe
how,
works.
how what is the system of this game. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. That's something very which.
it's challenging, and this is why I don't speak about this.
Yeah, yeah. I
You know?
was when I was starting that podcast. That was one of the things that was stopping me, because I was thinking, yeah, but in this one, in the English version, it's not like
Yeah,
that. I even was thinking to do it only in English, because I know more people in English,
yeah,
in English speaking, people as same as
yeah.
you,
Hmm.
that most of them, now when I think about it, most of them almost know about these things. Maybe not as much as me, but or you, but they know something.
Hmm.
In the Bulgarian version,
Version.
that was when where I was like, well, yeah, but almost none of the people around me, Bulgarian people, up until some point knew about that. And
Mm.
I that was like a stop for me. Like, yeah, but what if
But
I
this is your chance to be pioneer.
exactly? Yeah, I thought about that, but the thing was that I was thinking, yeah, but if I suddenly start, because most of them don't know that I know those stuff.
Hmm.
I was in the UK for the past 5 years. No one knows what happened to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No one knows what kind of experience I had. No one knows the massive volume of information that I've consumed for that time. Because by the during that time when people were partying and clubbing and here and drinking and this and that, I was staying at home like a monk and and was basically reading and consuming information, because it was the more I was listening and learning and understanding. And after I read the Dolores Cannon books, which I don't know if there's a person who I haven't mentioned them to,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like a it was absolutely dramatic transformation in my mind, because we spoke about that many times, that I was, even as a child, I had many times when I would go to bed, I would, and the lights are off and I'm about to go to sleep, and a question appears in my head. I wonder what happens when we die. What, I wonder what is, like, now I'm hearing, I'm tasting, I'm feeling, I'm listening, and what happens then? Like, is it like lights off and it just everything? What happens? And of course, I didn't have an answer. Later in life, here comes the question again. Again, no answer. Later in life, again, and recently was, it was the last time was when I was recently in UK.
Yeah,
And of course, when you ask, when you seek, you shall find.
you should find.
And of course, and I remember that you told me about her books a couple of times before I actually get to them, because there
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
so much information from everywhere. But when I did, it was like, oh my god. And I couldn't stop. I was listening to them on Audible, all the stories that when I was driving,
Yeah,
one
yeah,
after the other. I started from the first one, next one, next one. Some of them are like seven, well, if you're talking about in hours, it's like 19 hours or
yeah, yeah,
18
yeah.
hours,
They're long books. They're
which
long. That's a
yeah,
lot of information.
which in paperback is like
Yeah,
700 pages
yeah,
or
yeah,
800 maybe. And but it's this is something that you cannot unlearn. This you
yeah,
cannot
yeah,
just
yeah,
under see that
yeah,
and then forget it.
yeah.
It's impossible. Your life is not the same anymore
Exactly.
if you
Because
know that.
I had the same experience that you had with Dolores Cannon.
Uh-huh.
It's just I came to the material of Dolores Cannon after years of reading Dr. Michael Newton and Brian L. Weiss that did
Yeah.
a similar parallel research as psychologists and psychiatrists working with hypnosis and bringing people. Brian L. Weiss is another story, but definitely Dr. Michael Newton.
Hmm.
That I have read all his books, even for the book that he wrote for therapists. I bought it because I wanted to, to learn any type of, because it rang such a great big bell in me.
Hmm.
It's like a door was open, and I remembered suddenly so many things, and it was because it came at the same time that I started to do healing, and I started to study Reiki and it was channeling.
Hmm.
So I used to I used to get information uh, while reading. Okay, I used to read and get downloads while reading the books of Michael Newton, and that's why I read The Journey of the Souls and The Origin of the Souls in one go, and I because I read them in Hebrew and I couldn't find them in English where I lived in Germany, and I was like I got them from a friend in Hebrew because I it was a time that I used to do a television series in Israel, and I used to fly back and forward to Tel Aviv, and I used to every time I used to like fly with no care with no luggage at all, and come back with like suitcases with books and um which you so I showed you my library. It's like
Yeah,
most of them um are like you know books in this direction,
esoteric books.
esoteric books, and um really a huge collection of books that I accumulated just because I could not have enough. All the books of Korean. I started to have rechannelings of Marona Herman
Mm-hmm.
online until today. I mean, I told you about this channel, Voice to the Wisdom of the Ages, on YouTube, which is just amazing. He's doing an amazing job, and Reality Revolution, of course, which is also
Oh,
absolutely amazing. What he's doing, Brian,
Brian
is
Scott, yeah,
yeah, he's amazing. Really, I'm such a huge fan.
absolutely, yeah.
Um, and and the thing is, the Great Awakening is not something that happens and then you speak about it afterwards. It's
Mm-hmm.
something that that becomes a way of life,
Exactly, yeah.
of deciding which people are in your life that bring you joy and bring you energy and give you satisfaction. Which ways of thinking do that? Which structures in your life do that? What not? It's time to change. It's time to press sort of a reset button, and the Great Awakening for each person is a reset of going back to whatever resonates with you and the presence that you brought with you in this lifetime. Um, as a society, I I I have from what I feel in my intuition, it's going to bring us with a lot of resistance. Yeah, we see resistance now in the United States and all over the world, but I think that these resistance are the last the last
Hope for evil, the last hope
it's
for them.
it's I think it comes to support the change.
I think so too. Yeah, the whole thing that happened.
Exactly. To know what we don't want, where
Ex-
we do not want that, and
exactly,
it would bring people to maybe rethink things that they thought are unrethinkable,
exactly. That's what I've tried
dogmatic. Yeah,
to explain to people who are s somehow inclined to open-minded, let's say, on those subjects. That this it's don't. I told them don't care what's happening now. It can get even worse. We don't
yeah.
know. It can get even more and more
Focus
worse.
focus on. I see this situation now in the world as a calibration.
Hmm.
Yeah, not only what we want and don't want, but how to stay calm when everything around you is boiling.
It's chaos. Yeah.
And not to bubble yourself, because this is not really a solution, but definitely to learn how to maneuver on rough seas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's another type of experience.
It gave us, and it's still giving us the opportunity that to go in, that the thing that we talk about so much, to go in, to have time, because when else will we have the time, so much time
Exactly,
on our
exactly,
hands?
exactly.
If
Exactly.
when
Listen,
or
if not COVID, most of 2020 I would spend moving from one country to the other performing.
yeah, exactly. People would be working, doing their everyday
And
stuff.
and since everything stopped and we're not performing, and there is no way for me to perform um, in front of people live,
Mm-hmm.
which is what I do
Mm-hmm.
uh, in theater and in music or in musical, doesn't matter. Um, Suddenly it makes you recalculate what is your position in the world. From
Yeah.
one side, the fact that I was so used to the label myself as this artist, this act, and suddenly when this is gone, well, then what am I?
Exactly. What am
Yeah.
I?
And not only that, knowing as a starseed that I'm here to raise the vibration, but I feel like shit. What am I? I feel like a double failure, as an artist and as a light worker. But after a while, I just by observing it, by stopping this inner negative dialogue, I realized that whatever comes to the surface are things that until now were in the side drawers because everybody was walking in the corridor all the
In
time.
the or in the closet, stuffed.
Everybody was walking back. Well, these drawers will never open.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when there's no movement at all, these drawers are so full that they just go,
Exactly.
and suddenly, it's like in the beginning there was one you could deal with it in a way, and suddenly, boom, and suddenly, wow, all the closet. Everything is on the floor. You don't know what to do, but you've got a lot of time on your hands and no
Yeah.
goal.
And
And you
because
postpone it, and you Netflix, and you postpone it,
and it
and you
gets
postpone
worse.
it, and it gets worse to a point where you say, okay,
I can't take this anymore. I need
this
to.
this needs my attention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
And for me, 2020 was this attention
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
a lot of issues that I thought already are, they are behind me.
Yeah.
Until I realized that, yeah, they were behind me. They were not gone. They were just behind me. I didn't release them. I just worked them out and I just put them behind me. I
Yeah.
stopped working on them actually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. I for
Yeah. And now, in order for them to be released, in order for me to have my vibration in the right place for the things to come, because this is what we do, we raise our vibration to accept more growth,
mm-hmm.
more expansion, and to hold the vibration for other people that still cannot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a question of bad or good. It's a question of this is what we're here for. You know, you don't tell
Exactly.
flowers, "Oh, so you're not beautiful, huh?" No, it's their job to be beautiful. It's tell them or not tell them. It's a good, you know.
Yeah. But
And
the
our job here really is to do exactly what we do, to keep um, um, a level of energy which is supportive, which is giving. Hope is not really a remembrance. It flips the switch. That suddenly we talk about things and something will cling, and oh, there will be an opening and suddenly an understanding and suddenly a high experience and suddenly a hunger to search for more. And this is how it comes to life. And you cannot have this hunger by coupon. You don't get a coupon for that.
mm-hmm. Yeah. the the thing is
You,
that during this time it was many people when they hear that they need to change, they cringe. They
I know,
what do you mean I have to change? Why do I
because
have
we
to
have a
change?
mechanism that we have a mechanism that keeps us alive, actually,
Yeah,
which is to keep us from change.
yeah. to
Yeah,
to not move to the next
yeah.
place of land.
When we are, even though we are built for leaps of faith, yeah, because of our um, capabilities,
Hmm.
and because of the game is like this. But a part of the game is also to forget the rules of the game when you come here, and
Exactly.
to find them out. And the very often the rules of the game contradict what we were taught as a child.
Hmm.
Otherwise, if everyone would teach you the right thing and do the right things for you, then why be born?
Hmm.
There's no reason when everything just goes right. In a factory, when everything just goes right and a piece of thing just goes from one side to the next and comes out the same way that it came in, it's like a useless machine. I mean,
Hmm.
what does this machine do? You just transport one thing from here to here?
Hmm.
No, but if something like, I don't know, like this comes from one side and something like this comes from the other side, okay, this is what this machine is doing. So each of us, we come like this, and we have to end up what we were meant to do.
I guess that's the hard thing for many people to understand, that it's not because the way you should be changing, because it's not about getting worse or getting,
Better, yeah,
it's about bettering yourself, it's
yeah.
about being. why would you why would you not want that? Like, and the thing is that many people that reject the change, their lives are not perfect, I would say, and far from perfect, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
I know.
what are you losing? Like, what's there to lose? What are you gonna lose if you become better person? What are you gonna lose if you
A false sense of control.
what do you mean? For,
If you know that you cannot change your life, and it's in your hand to change it, the only thing that you have control over is to change your life or not, then you experience control by deciding not to change your life.
yeah, yeah, you, you could say that, yeah.
Okay? The minute you understand, because the perception now is that what we have is security, and we have to keep it.
Or it's maybe the thing that they would have to take responsibility when they realize that they can actually change, because it's if it's
Listen,
not.
the fact that if they realize that they can change, if they realize already that they can change, this is already a game changer.
Absolutely, the thing is that before that
Before that, they don't have. They react like in a fright or flight
they are
mode.
reacting.
Yeah, it's not really decision. It's more
And
compulsion.
yeah, and you can always blame, the country, the government, the
Well, you can because
president.
it. You can because it is. You know.
Yeah, but if you go to the place where you realize, okay, so if I even posted something today, I think, if when you change the way you look at things,
Things
the
change.
things you look
You
at
look at
change.
change. Absolutely.
But
And this is not just a nice saying. This is scientifically proven.
absolutely, absolutely,
You know,
I always
this
give.
is exactly what Bruce Lipton is talking about
Yeah,
the
biology
research
of.
of stem cells, and
Mhm.
what you concentrate on starts to appear.
Mm-hmm.
And this is very difficult for us because we are doctrinated completely different.
Exactly.
You know, I had a friend in Paris that learned to become a sort of a specialist in different types of cancer,
Mm-hmm.
and the material that he was studying was from textbooks.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these textbooks had to be approved before they were printed.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, "Do you know how long it took these books to be approved?" He said, "What does it matter?" I said, "I'll ask you another question. You're learning about the heart, right?" Yeah. If I've got a hole in a blood vessel close to the heart, what would the first question would be as someone that wants to save lives? Which
Mm-hmm.
side? Which side is this the one that pumps into or out from?
Mm-hmm.
Because the difference is huge.
Yeah.
And he said, "I don't understand." And I said, "It took the books at least 10 to 15 years to be approved. It means the material that is in the books that you are reading now is at least 15 years old, at least, at least. So what you're learning now, it takes you another 5 years to complete and to exam. It means that when you start to practice it, it's already 20 to 25 years old. You know what 25 years is in medicine nowadays?
Different world.
Yeah. So, and because he was going down on me that I'm taking my information from TED Talks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, "You know how you get to TED Talks? Unless you're Bill Gates, you have to achieve, something out of the ordinary in your field. And in order to be able to lecture about this to other people in the same field
Yeah.
that learn something from you, it means that they're definitely more into it than your teachers. Doesn't matter if they have professor in front of them, because they're more up to date, not with who's going to date who in the university. No, they're really occupied with material that is saving lives.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't care about who studied where. No. So even even for people that are really into saving lives, you still need to penetrate a brainwashing, you know, that you either see it or don't,
Mm-hmm.
you know? You either see it or don't. And this person will either open his eyes someday or will end up helping some people and hurting some because of, wrong information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And especially in medicine, is so controversial nowadays. There's always uh, arguings and different type of diets, which is the best diet, even though there's no best
It
diet because
depends.
we're all different.
Yeah, of course. Again, the fact of one size fits all, or at least groups of sizes like X, XL, S, you know,
Mm-hmm.
in also in education and in everything actually, it robs individuality from its core, from its essence.
Mm-hmm.
So either you're a part of this and you remember that you're an individual and you use the information that you get in a selective way and you get informed from other places, like awakened people do,
Mm-hmm.
or you start to have all types of um, side effects that in the beginning you will never really think that it's got to do anything with the system that tries to heal you until it's too late, and then you're born again to forget and learn again how to
Level
think for
one.
yourself.
You go back to level one of the game.
Yeah. So, okay.
Uh,
Shit. I have to get again.
Game
I have
over.
to remember who I am. That's the thing. I have to remember who I am. The minute I remember who I am, everything. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm ready. I'm ready. Beam me
Yeah.
out, Scotty.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And and that's the tricky part that to come here we need to forget.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be fair.
Exactly.
But there are children that remember. A lot of children that remember.
Yeah, yeah,
A lot of children that remember. That's the thing. The minute it starts to awaken, we cannot take it back. It's like words. You cannot take words back.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
can think
Yeah.
whatever you want. We cannot. We still are not trained enough to read each other's thoughts. That would come, and then we'll
Mhm.
have to have pure thoughts as well. But
Oh.
until there, let's wait with the thoughts. Let's start with what comes out of the mouth. And uh, I've been challenged lately with a person that really did not get the order of things. He thinks only after he speaks, and and he apologizes as a way of life all the time. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't have to say that.
Yeah.
And I said, you just, the easiest medicine for you is the most difficult. He said, what is that? To shut your mouth. That would teach you a lot
Yeah.
and would get you out of trouble.
Oh, absolutely.
But free choice.
Free
So
will, yeah.
free free choice and free will. I cannot say anything. I could just, um, it's it's reassuring sometimes to know that you don't need to control and you don't need to take care of everything.
Uh, Yes,
You
that's
just need to take care of your own shit. That's it.
and
Be
even
responsible of your own shit, and the minute each is responsible for his own shit, everything is fine.
you hit a very important subject because recently I don't remember who I was talking about, but the time when you fall into the trap of way overthinking. What am I supposed to do? Like, oh, what job should I get? Should I get this? Should I do that? Should I? But yeah, but look at, and it's I've been there. I've been there.
Yeah,
Everyone's been
listen,
there.
we are programmed for that.
Exactly.
The fact that we broke out of it shows just how independent thinkers we are.
Hmm.
No, that the independency is stronger than the doctrine.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
That's and it's I know it can be a very tough place, but at the same time, okay, you're in a place where something inside you is constantly pushing you because apparently you're not where you're supposed to be. I'm saying
Hmm.
in quotes for the people just listening, supposed to
Yeah,
be.
yeah, yeah.
Um, according to who? Who's according to whom you're supposed to be? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
According to
It's like
you,
this. It's like this saying by the book. So what
yeah.
book? What book? Give me the book.
Exactly.
What book?
Is it
Do it by the book.
is it because you think so? Is it because your parents think so? Is it because your friends around you are thinking so,
Hmm.
or maybe society thinks so, or school, or job, or colleagues, or
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
at
yeah,
the
yeah.
end of the day, the biggest release is when you realize none of those upper mentioned entities matter.
Hmm.
None of those matter. It doesn't matter if you're I I was I quit university on the second year.
Hmm.
Do you think that was my parents were very happy about it? Of course not.
No, of course not.
After that, I had another thing that I so-called blew. I
Yeah, yeah,
let's
yeah.
say I didn't speak. I was in my house and I was passing with my father because we weren't speaking to each other.
Okay.
Was that pleasant? Of course not. But that led me to find the place, to find the way where I want to be.
Yeah,
And if okay, if you're in that place of what am I supposed to do?
yeah,
Okay, how about sit and think about it? How about be quiet? How about go in nature? Go
nature. Yeah,
go somewhere in quiet. Leave your phone. Leave your distractions.
absolutely,
That was
absolutely.
the thing with the coronavirus, because it gave in if you look at it in a spiritual way, in a
Yeah,
esoteric way, that
yeah,
it's yeah, you can look at it, oh my god, look what happened, the end of the world, or oh, look at that, now I have a chance to actually do that, to actually learn to meditate, to actually start exercising more frequently, to actually start doing yoga, to actually
mm,
start reading those books that I always wanted to read, but
yeah,
I always didn't have time.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's the thing, that you're in the place that you're wandering around and trying to figure out, but in the same time you're not giving even 10 minutes a day to yourself to actually be quiet, to actually
there's nothing in our environment that promotes that.
exactly. That's why you as a person need to create it.
Exactly. Believe me, if it would say on television that you need to meditate an hour a day, and they would have a guided meditation every day before the news, and the news is just good news, try a month of these, and see the change in the world. So it's definitely a responsibility. It's like it's a bit like turning vegan 20 years ago.
Hmm.
Today to turn vegan, everything is very easy. You've got a lot of substitutes that you can find in normal supermarkets. 20 years ago, to be vegan, it was easier to be um, a Buddhist in the Middle East than to be a vegan.
Uh-huh.
Um, it was, I remember I had friends that were vegan at home, you know,
Hmm.
and they always had problems. Always, always. Today, it's different. Now, the fact that today it's different doesn't mean that veganism changed. It
No.
just means that the place of veganism in life today is such that it became mainstream.
Almost a trend.
Almost a trend,
Yeah.
yes. And thinking about the next trend, which is fasting,
Hmm.
which is
Yeah.
getting more and more like the Wim Hof method.
Yeah.
It's getting more and more
Friction.
a mainstream sense to it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not esoteric anymore to meditate. Now, there are doctors who even tell you, listen, if you can quiet your mind for like 10 minutes, here's an app. Download this app, sit and listen to these waves, like for 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know, um, it starts to be a part of our lives. And I think, again, going back to the awakening, this is also a part of the awakening, to be able to notice that the vibration is changing as it is changing, not
Hmm.
only to look at it um, from afar and say, "Oh wow, look at the way we did," but
Yeah.
definitely to realize, "Oh my God, yeah." In the news, like a week ago, the Israeli minister of whatever said that there are connections with the Galactic Federation, and
The
that Trump knows
UFO.
about
So
it.
yeah.
And suddenly, uh, a scientist goes mainstream and talks about something that uh, until like 4 weeks ago, only conspiracy theories were talking about, or just ufologists or whatever.
Don't you just
And
love that?
yes, this is why we chose to be here now,
It's so
because it
amazing.
never happened.
It's
It
so
never
amazing.
happened.
I
It's
just
fantastic.
just the fact for people listening, if you still are wondering, let me tell you something. Soon, I if I have to guess, I would say this year. I would put my money in this year. Really, we will see aliens, like it or not. That's why. That's just in the past few months. How many mainstream in quote unquote newspapers and websites like New York Post and all the other, I don't even know them, but how many of those posted some kind of article connected with extraterrestrials, UFOs, ships found somewhere in Antarctica and here and there, the monuments, those monuments that apparently I later found out that they were appearing every 24 hours.
Yes.
Some people say, yeah, probably somebody is making a joke. Yeah, maybe, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit
You're
weird that,
talking about the Obelix.
yeah,
Obelix.
those
The metal Obelix.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Some of them were fake. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
obvious.
yeah,
Of course, somebody will create something, to be funny or whatever. But it's how come those same, and it's not just that. It's so many articles from, and the thing is that they are from mainstream newspapers and media, which they before that, before 2020. How many times any of us have seen an article about aliens? I haven't.
yeah.
Maybe here and there, maybe
Yeah.
somewhere, but this year it was like a avalanche those those things, those
Yeah, yeah,
articles.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And why? Because they're spoon feeding us, because they're preparing us slowly, slowly. I don't know if I probably I told you that I watched uh, a show on Gaia, Cosmic Disclosure.
You told me about it. Yes,
Yeah,
I haven't watched it myself, but yeah.
it's a mind blowing show. Just
Okay.
absolutely incredible information from insiders, and one of them directly said on. I even made a video with my phone on of the video, which from the 31st of March 2020,
Okay.
where the guy says, from now on, not from now on, but I see a fairly decent disclosure happening, and he says, that's from my uh, senior, some kind of boss, to for lack of a better word, I forgot the rank of the person,
Yeah.
from 6 to 24 to, yeah, to 24 months from now. That was March 2020.
Okay.
Now it's January 2020, and it's inevitable. It's happening, and I'm so happy about it. Because it's I of, there's a chance that they may act like it's an invasion, like,
Yeah.
oh, the aliens are attacking us. Yeah, because
David Wilcock was talking about this, and Corey Good, and
yeah, yeah, and invasion. Yeah, because up until now they weren't ready to invade us. They were just too weak to invade us. Yeah, they just right now they decide to invade us.
no, I
Just
think that's again it's a probable present that will occur.
mhm,
I would concentrate um, on which kind of future which I want to see
mhm,
happening, because I know that this affects the outcome. What do we long for? What do we as people? What do we long for? And of course, I long for um, uh, uh, you know,
Different world.
unveiling the the connection that we have to other worlds and other planets and other universes even as much as possible. I think that this is much more interesting than stocks, for instance. I think
Well,
it's much more interesting than buying and selling whatever, because I think it speaks about things that, you know,
it's not even
it's
in the same category. It's
exactly.
so.
So I really hope that there is a, even though I know it's a planet, it's a zone of free thinking and of free will, but I really hope that there's like a beam that we like, and we will all remember who we are, and that's it. Because it's like it looks like such a long journey,
It
and I'm
is.
just in this lifetime, and and the fact that we are in this lifetime, we achieve so many reincarnations without dying. This is why you can look at different chapters in your life and look at, oh my God, it looks like a different lifetime. It is actually energetically. We all in this lifetime decided that we're going to end a lot of karmatic things. So a lot of chapters in our lives are there in order to, okay, done that, been there, release and and to the next one. Because this awakening is waiting already um, for a very, very long time.
All of the insiders on that show, all of them say all of these um, different races of extraterrestrials, they're waiting for us. That's the thing. They're waiting for us to get
Yeah,
to that level so we can be a part of, because we're a tiny planet in the far end of the galaxy. And people think that that in our galaxy there is like what, 8 9 planets. Yeah, try 41 more. Try 41 more. And even
yeah,
one of them. And if people think that they're just, the aliens, I mean, they're just coming here, they've been here from the beginning of the planet, when the planet was just water and nothing else. Because
yeah.
why? Because some of them did it.
We as well. I mean,
Yeah,
our souls were a part of the gases that were like on this planet.
absolutely.
So um, the fact that we will wait, it's it's funny because the same question, like people, do you believe in life after death? So do you believe in aliens? And I keep being thrown back to the same joke of two babies in the womb, and one asks the other, "Tell me, do you believe in life after birth?"
Exactly. It's I don't in For me and for you and for many other people, it's not a question anymore. Is it, or is it possible, or do we, or no, it's a fact.
Yeah,
It's a fact, like it or not.
absolutely.
and
Yeah,
and if people don't realize that, if the faster we get, we are, let's say, familiar or okay with that, and we get to that place in our mind that all of this is true, that all of that, we're not only that soon we're gonna see aliens, they've been coming to this planet. What do you think Egypt
they've
happened?
been a part of we. I mean, they've been a part of our lives since ever, and
Exactly.
not only the part of our lives, in some cases, the reason of our lives.
Exactly. Like, look at ancient history.
Yeah,
If people want to take a glimpse, look at ancient history. Show me a civilizations that doesn't have something about that in their history.
yeah.
Why? Why is that?
Yeah.
To make up
You know,
stories?
the works,
Yeah.
of course, of Erich von Däniken and a lot, many more. And of course, a book, I don't remember who wrote mere names. I forgot who wrote it. It's called The Gods of Eden.
I've heard about that book, The
Yeah, I
Gods of
sent you
Eden.
the I think I sent you the PDF that I found what I got from a friend of mine, something like this. Wonderful book about exactly this, you know. Wait a
It's
minute,
it's
because my
in
screen is
those stories are in every major culture uh, history, like in
the
Egypt,
Gods of
the
Eden. Yeah,
the in Egypt, in the Mayans, in the Tibetans, the everywhere. It's everywhere. And
Gods of Eden, Andrew Collins.
uh,
I'll send it to you in the chat so you
and
can
and
you can check it out.
something else that maybe also people don't realize, the minute that this happens, basically the disclosure, and when the aliens appear, not come,
Yeah,
because they are here, they're always been here, and so on.
yeah,
But the minute they appear, everything will change. And remember when during the pandemic, many they were uh, beaming the message, the new normal, the nothing's gonna be the same. Damn
yeah.
right, it's not gonna be the same. But
Oh yeah, absolutely.
it's not because of the reason they are thinking. It's not because of the stupid virus. That thing
Yeah, yeah,
is,
yeah.
sooner or later it's gonna be over with. But the minute we
Well,
have
it's
different like,
it serves a purpose now.
yeah, and it's,
It serves a purpose.
we're talking about anti-gravity, about
I know.
interstellar travel, about
I know. I know. I
telekinesis,
know. I
all of
know.
those.
I know. I know. I try to explain to people that I see a future where all the roads are made into gardens
Yeah,
because we don't need roads anymore for driving.
yeah,
Yeah,
because cars disappear.
they become different. They
Yeah,
become different.
they become floating
Yeah,
cars.
yeah,
That's the thing.
yes,
That's why I'm many, when I see many people are like still afraid, or maybe like, oh, another lockdown, or another this, another that. Look at the big picture, my friend.
mm.
Zoom out and look at the big picture. Ye-
Yeah. The thing is, if you're triggered by fear, it's difficult for you to look at things from a higher perspective because in order to be in a higher perspective, you have to be in a higher state of consciousness.
yeah,
And if you're triggered by fear, your consciousness will always stay
low.
in low vibrations.
Hmm.
This is the reason it's bombarded, because our natural way is not to be.
Afraid.
It needs to be sustained all the time. This state of fear, because we're not we're if it would be normal for us to be in a state of fear, there would be no news.
Yeah. And the thing is that we get used to the scary thing, whatever it is, and
Yeah,
they have to create
of
more, and
course.
a new one.
You know why? Because it creates a sort of a chemical reaction in the body that is a sort of a rush.
Yeah, fight or
Yeah,
flight.
exactly. And you become addicted to this rush starts to trigger reality for you.
Hmm.
Yeah, instead of the other way around, that the minute this comes, reality stops. So, oh no, this is not good. It becomes a part of reality to a point where if you don't have it, you think that something is missing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and I learned that, for instance, living in Israel for 27 years and being connected to the news, and of course, news about a lot of, very negative things.
Hmm.
And it's not only fear, it's also rage that it builds.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And when I started working in Europe, I realized, oh my God, everything is so quiet here. It's like what I experience in a day in Israel, I experience here in a month. Like nothing happens here. Everybody's like it's so European, because you get used to the fact that every day since childhood you're afraid of explosive, you're afraid of that, you're afraid of that, you're afraid of that, you're afraid of that, you're afraid, you know,
Hmm.
and suddenly coming to Europe and not being a part of this constant fear spreading mechanism, I realized, wait a minute, I don't hate that much. I'm not as agitated as before. This is more or less when I stopped watching television,
Hmm. Yeah.
because I realized, wait a minute, but it comes just from television. So as long as videos then, as long as I had nice videos, or then DVDs came, so yeah, fine. And after a while, internet came, I could choose what I want to watch.
Hmm.
And if it gives me a good feeling, if I feel it opens my mind, if it challenges my way of thinking, if it puts in question everything I thought before, and it makes me think after I've finished watching, it makes me think, then it's the right thing for me to watch. It's the right thing for me to read. It's the right thing for me to consume.
Hmm.
Everything else, which is just like French fries, it's nice for a while, but you can't really live on it. So it's a snack. So all the other things like Netflix and stuff, they need to be the snack for
Yeah.
your brain. All the rest, everything that can challenge everything that you thought you knew before, to a point where you start listening to new information with an inquisitive ear. You don't take it, oh, it's new information, it's from God. No, you take it, you listen to it, and say, okay, and then you start to develop your intuition. Your intuition starts to tell you, this is right for you, this doesn't resonate with me. This is right, this resonates with me, doesn't this doesn't resonate with me, doesn't resonate with me. I'll keep listening, you know?
Yeah, and that's the other thing is to have to look for as many different sources as
Of
possible,
course, of
so
course,
you
of
can
course.
compare other. Many people just hear one thing and, oh, that's it, that's the truth. Yeah, maybe it is.
Because it's easier to just get the supplies in the supermarket than go to the field and pluck
Yeah.
it yourself,
Hmm.
Um, the media gives us what they want us to hear, but it's also convenient because it's in every house,
Yeah.
and you don't have to really search for the information. You don't need to go through five false prophets in order to hear one that really resonates with you. And consuming free information, that what does it mean, free information? It means that every person can put a mic on and a fill and a phone on and just blub whatever he wants.
Hmm.
And it's not, you don't have a regulation here.
No.
We are we are the victims of regulations, and
Actually, yeah.
we try to run away from it. So when you don't have regulations, it means that there is no filter there.
Hmm.
The filter is in your hands, and you decide what you want to see and how you want to consume it. So it's responsibility. But
Exactly.
again, we go back to the beginning of our conversation, um, or our pre-talk maybe.
Could be.
Um, the 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 need to be uh, comfortable
Yeah.
is the root of stagnation
Hmm.
in thinking, in everything. You sit too much, you start to lose muscle. You watch too much Netflix, and you start to digest things that are just, you know,
Fluff.
fluff. If you just eat junk food, the same thing. If everything.
What
If you
happens?
don't,
What
what
happens
happens?
with water when it sits on one place? and it's not
It
moving.
starts to smell, of course.
Starts to build, all kinds of bacteria, and that's why
Yeah,
the
and not the bacteria that we want in our body.
yeah.
Um, and and again, it's our responsibility to do it in our lives. It's not our responsibility to take care that someone else is doing it.
Mm-hmm.
We can share it, but definitely not preach, in order not to raise antagonism. And definitely, implement this in our lives as much as we can. We're here to experience our lives,
That's it.
our,
That's it.
and to impact everything around us.
And I feel like the information is is our door to next levels, and to actually have the consciousness that we need to have. Because I give myself as an example many times for the fact that 2 years, 2.5, something like that, I didn't know any of that things. Any. Like zero. I didn't read
Hmm.
books. I, let's say 3 years, I didn't listen to podcasts. I didn't do any of that.
Hmm.
Why I started suddenly, I don't know, something clicked. Something, who knows?
Evolution,
Yeah,
evolution.
who knows, many reasons could be. But bef- I was in the same place where many people are now today.
Hmm.
And even if I myself from 5 years ago would have laughed if I tell him, what you're gonna be doing in 5 years, and
Yeah,
what you're gonna be believing in.
yeah,
And
absolutely. Because the, this is already a sign that you grow in the right way. Because if you grow into the um, design made from a lesser point of view, the dream is smaller than actually what you can have.
yeah,
You need to let yourself dream big, not because it makes you feel, no, I dream big. No, dream big because you never know. You can never know where you can
mm-hmm.
go to. And if you just dream small, you 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 bend all the universe to think small for you,
Yeah, you limit
with
yourself, and
which is unnatural.
everything you can actually achieve. And then the thing is that I gave the example that because of this is how easy it is to to have a complete turnover.
Yes,
The
it
same
is.
person, the
It
same
is.
person
Yes.
as 3 years ago is
Yeah.
the so-called, quote unquote, the same person is today. But look
Yeah.
at look at the difference
Yeah.
just in 2 years.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, of course I was consuming way too much information, but doesn't matter.
Because it's the it's I see it as because I don't see it as learning. I see it as remembering
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it resonates. It resonates. If you read something and it doesn't resonate with you, you can sit and learn it hours and hours and hours, and still you will never know
Oh yeah.
you'll never know the material.
Oh yeah.
But the minute the this experience of starting to read a book and you go like, oh my God, I never heard this information, but the more I read, the more I understand, and the more it feels that I knew this already in my life. I knew this.
E-
It makes so much sense that
exactly.
it's not new for me.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not new like something that doesn't make sense. It's new like something that I always knew and I forgot. And this is the remembering. My healing teacher, when she began to teach me, she said, I'm not going to teach you. And I said, I don't understand. You just said you will. And she said, no, I'm going to help you remember.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's your job to remember. It's not my job to remember. I remember now what I need to do. You just need to understand that you don't need to search for the information. Really, you don't need to search for the information outside of you. You've
Mm-hmm.
got all the answers inside of you. The only thing you need to know how to do and to always work on, this is something which you will constantly work on, is your connection.
Mm-hmm.
How pure the connection is. And I've heard uh, an interview this week of Matt Kahn. You know Matt Kahn?
I don't think so.
He's a wonderful channeler, and I listened to um, an interview with him, and he speaks about his awakening
Mm-hmm.
and how he started to channel and stuff. And when you hear his story, when you hear Lee Carroll's story, when you hear Louise Hay, when you hear a lot of people that started like this, Jane Roberts, it comes with calibration.
Of
You
course,
have to
yeah.
bring yourself to a point where you know that this connection is um, pure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
This connection is free of low energy.
yeah.
It comes with a knowing, an inner knowing, and an allowance. You allow this to happen to you.
Not trying to.
Exactly. Because it's not an active thing, it's a passive. It's giving room.
You have to become the empty vessel for the thing to come, and
Yeah,
fill
yeah,
you
yeah.
with that. And uh,
And this is a very I had an experience a few days ago that I had a friend of mine from Hamburg was visiting here, and we were sitting outside in the hut. I told you about the hut where there's no internet and there's no
yeah, yeah.
beautiful no screens, no nothing, just candles, fire, open fire, and wood
Beautiful.
and trees and really
Amazing.
and quiet. And we were both very taken by this atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And because she started to have an awakening, but everyone has got an awakening by its, a personal awakening.
Mm-hmm.
It's a personal journey, and we found ourselves talking about letting letting our inner self guide us, even if it's completely different, opposite of what we used to do or could have done. Um, and it's beautiful to see it with her because she had a lot of resistance.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's got less and less resistance, and things start to fall into place. Now, she called it a curse. Yeah, a curse was lifted from
Uh-huh.
her.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought to myself, I'll should I should I tell her what it is actually, or should I just let her? And I just let her, um, think it's a curse. I knew that something changed in her vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Something changed in her vibration. And with her, I had an experience, and this is how I came to her. I had an experience. I did not plan on this. No, nothing. She asked me a question, and I closed my eyes, and suddenly I started to get information for her.
Mm-hmm.
Information that I could not have known, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
And she was even though I was with my eyes closed, I could see that she's like, and she's and the funny thing is, I remember I used to say something, and used to come out of it, and I said, "You see, I told you this myself." You know, I used to come out of the channel. I used to there's this and this. You see, I told you this myself,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I used to go back and see, you see, I told you that. You have to listen to me.
Because you're
And I
you're
went
on
back,
you're
and
on
I
the
went back,
side.
yeah, yeah. And I went back into it so easily. But it happens to me when it needs to happen. You know, I don't sit there and wait for
Exactly.
any information to come. With her, I had also in Paris. You know, we went to a beautiful vegan restaurant in Paris, which doesn't exist anymore actually. Um, and we were sitting there, and I suddenly got information for her that she needed to hear.
Hmm.
And I was talking with my eyes closed, and my I had tears because normally I have tears of joy when I'm channeling. I have like a feeling of being a very supported and loved, and it normally comes out of my eyes or my nose. When my nose starts to run, I'm like I'm so yeah taken by this love. And I told her things, and when I opened my eyes, I thought like 10 minutes passed, and it's like 45 minutes later. And and I I mean, I didn't really remember everything I said, but I didn't need to.
Yeah.
I was there just to tell her that. Um, but I'm happy. I see this through people in my life that I can talk to them today about things that 5 years ago I could just be looked at as if I smoke too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
And nowadays there's a I you know where I see this in the silence when you speak to someone and you say something and suddenly there's a silence in the air and the listening and a tuning which is okay.
Hmm.
You hear the absorption
Yeah,
of
yeah.
the material.
Usually
And
it's just something coming back, from.
yeah, exactly. And this is why I find myself holding back less and less, only deciding who to be open to,
Of course, yeah.
you know?
Hmm.
Um, in the beginning, I thought it's my duty as a light worker to help every person in my way, until I realized I can try to do that, but it's a bit like trying to throw back to the ocean all the plastic that the ocean throws to the shore every day,
Hmm.
because I'm not doing anything with that.
Yeah.
So I stopped doing that, and only when there's a demand.
Hmm.
Yeah. Can you help me? What do you think? What should when there's a demand for this door to be opened, then I say, not everything that I will say would resonate with you, and not everything that I will say you would like.
Hmm.
But I don't, to tell you the truth, I have no idea what I'm going to say. But let me, and it's very quickly.
Yeah.
If there's information that needs to be transmitted, then I'm doing that very quickly. Uh, it comes very quickly and goes very quickly. It's not like, it's
Mm.
like whatever comes in order to be said and leaves, and I'm like, oh shit, what now? Record. Um, I don't have, like Esther and Jerry, a husband that used to write, or Lee Carroll and his wife, I don't have this other half that sits and writes down what I say, and this
Hmm.
is it's not my, and it's not probably not my thing. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe in the
Hmm.
future. I don't know. Maybe in the next now,
Yeah.
future, the next now.
The next now, yeah. Yeah.
It's not. It's. I was when I was younger. It was a bit like a goal. I wanna. I wanna. I need to. I need to channel. I want to channel. Now I really. It's really. It's, I know that I do when I write music, when I paint, when I'm creative. I know that it is
Oh,
a force that is. Um, um,
going through you.
let's say more a force that I'm surfing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm surfing this for the time that I'm creating, and then
Yeah, yeah,
uh, and of course when I look at something and I get like a bouquet of ideas, what can I do with this? Because I'm working, of course, with these recycled materials that if, doesn't matter if I look at them, in another way. Suddenly, I've got a bunch of other ideas what I can do with them. So it's nice this thing,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
the the rainbow of ideas that I can get just from one simple thing,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which teaches me actually about possibilities, in every given moment.
Yeah. Now, a couple of funny things I remembered about synchronicities. Uh, well, the first one was that remember when I was in England and we were speaking and I was telling you, there's almost no one around me that I can talk about all those stuff and all this, which was true, And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I came back here. I finally decided to start the podcast, and suddenly some different people started to appear in my
Appear in
life
your yeah.
for some reason, even recently somebody that maybe she might be listening, maybe not. We were in on New Year's together, and a couple of people there.
Okay,
It was an interesting experience because it was like a social experiment. Because I like to really observe people and all that.
okay.
There was a couple of people there who were open to that, and I even spoke with one of the guys that he says, I'm very careful who I speak with about that because many people
Yeah,
look at me, like I'm on drugs or this or
yeah,
that,
yeah,
and I was like, yeah, I know what you mean,
yeah.
but it's something that the moment you start to say to speak your truth. In my cases with that podcast, because I was afraid or whatever what people are gonna think and all that, and I reached a point where I said, you know what, who cares what people are gonna say, I don't give a fuck, it's that's something I like. I do it for me. I do it for the other people who are like me, who would who would appreciate the things that we're talking about now and all that. And that was the gate that I had to break,
Oh, yeah. Okay. Go
so
through. Yeah.
so it will to release that caring too much what people were gonna think. And the moment I did that, funny coincidences started to happen. A person who I knew from before from my town, who I just randomly he heard the podcast, he messaged me, we saw each other, we start talking. uh, Another like-minded person. That's where
Yeah.
what I'm going with this. Another like-minded person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then somebody else appears. Then this, and suddenly, and what that means, dear listeners, when synchronicity starts to happen, it means you're on the right path. It
Yeah.
means keep going. Don't move away. Another funny thing that happened was, remember that I told you that I had um, a session with um, like a QHHT session,
Yeah. Yeah.
quantum healing.
Quantum healing technique. Yeah.
Yeah, and when a girl named Stella, if she's listening, she, when we started. our session, she told me about something with basically that I've been I knew in a way inside of me, but of course
Yeah,
the doubt was always on the front page and always
yeah,
probably it's not. She told me that you're one of those people, one of the light workers, the same
yeah.
as, and I told her well yeah I had a feeling about that, but I never believed it, and she says that's another uh,
Characteristics of these
yeah
people. Yeah.
she says I'm the same. Her, her
By the way, did you make a numerology um, test for yourself to
uh,
to see what kind of life number do you have? What kind of
if
path number?
I have if I did the same thing that you're talking about, I'm number one.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm not. I mean, you mean the birthday date and the calculation and all that?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, that I did it, and everything comes to one at the end.
Okay.
And
Fantastic.
and but yeah, she was saying, yeah, I definitely see, that you have it in yourself. You have a healing powers in yourself. It's just locked. It's not. And she mentioned because I told her that I was thinking maybe to do the QHHT course and do those hypnosis and all that. And she said, I don't know about that, but maybe something like Reiki, and she stopped there. Anyway, fast forward on New Year's, because on the first I have on the 1st of January I have a name day. I don't know if that's how it's called.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a name's day.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In
and
Europe, it's I don't know if it's in American culture, but in Europe,
yeah,
in
yeah.
Catholic countries, it's definitely
And a friend of mine gives me as a present Reiki for dummies, and I just see the book and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like it's just, and I told him I don't know if I didn't told him the whole story, but I just told him, yeah, there was a few synchronicities in there that I opened the book. I started to read it that night, the same night. I went like to 20 or 30 pages. I was reading and I'm like, yeah, that's the exact book, the exact to the right time. It's it never stops to amazes and amuses me in the same time, that the synchronicities when they happen. It's I thought to myself when I was reading the book, and I was like, okay, that's a direction.
yeah.
That's a good direction that
Because
I.
the minute you understand that you can use these tools in everything you do.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you don't need a Reiki session with a bed and then put your hand. No, it's an intention that you send in everything you do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this it becomes more, let's say, less esoteric and more practical.
Yeah, yeah.
Because for some people it's a bit too out there
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
to understand what it means.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely means that we're never alone, and
Yeah.
that we're a part of everything. And this is already giving, enough support for you to grow from. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's in your place as well, but your picture is stuck.
Yeah, we froze for a second. I think it's back.
We froze for a second. Yeah. Do you know that we talk almost 4 hours?
Well,
Again,
with
again.
the
Well, with the
pre.
pre-talk, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's like we don't even have to look at the clock. It's like 4 hours for us, like normal session. And
if I'm not mistaken, it's almost every time we have a
yeah,
conversation.
that's
It's
what I mean. It's
around
like
around
when I go to
4 hours.
sleep. Doesn't matter when I go to sleep. I just sleep 6 hours. Even if I try to sleep more, I can't. So it's like us with like 4 hours. It's like normal time to us for exchange.
Sometimes I wish I can sleep just 6 hours and and be good to go. You know.
Well, I don't know anything else. That's so I don't know what it means to sleep like 12 hours. I never.
Never.
I think maybe yeah, if I was really intoxicated.
But when you were
Normal rhythm for me is like maximum 6.5 hours sleep at night, and I'm like, mm,
always like even when
always.
you were younger.
Yeah,
That's yeah. I guess I mean different.
yeah. Even as a kid, I was like, I didn't
Yeah,
sleep.
that's what I meant. Because
No,
usually
I was not. I was a child that really had to be put to bed. Almost put to
hyperactive.
sleep. Yeah, I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
before anybody knew what kind of initials I have to have before what kind of condition I have.
But while we are on the still the because your art is very very what's the word? I look at that kind of art, yours and other of that kind, as I feel like most people that begin to have some kind of experiences or to raise their consciousness and uh, to people who think out there, the right brain thinkers.
Hmm.
I feel they very much connect with those images, that the abstract images.
Yeah. The thing is, and this is something that I learned through just having exhibitions.
Uh huh.
Every every picture, you know what Rorschach pictures are?
No.
In psychology, there was a psychologist Rorschach. It's ink stains.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So every person sees something different in that.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
I learned about my paintings is that it's really like Rorschach.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Every person sees in the same painting different things. Even I see different things than people who watch the paintings. This is why I never really give titles to paintings,
Yeah,
because I think that titles are very limiting.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They are limiting because if I write on a blank piece of paper, if I write this is an elephant, the only thing that you will sit and think is where is the elephant,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
you know? And if I the same blank piece of paper I put untitled, every person is free to give it his own interpretation without damaging or without thinking too much out of the box.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is a bit cruel to do it for. If you see a point on a canvas and you write a lone dog in a walk in the park in New York on New Year's Eve. So this is really like making fun of the audience that needs to now try to find the story in the
Yeah,
title that
like
you
a
wrote.
test.
Exactly. And you always fail this. It's
Yeah,
always a failing text. It always gives a feeling. I don't like to give the feeling that I'm smarter than my
yeah.
audience.
But where is it? I don't see it. Do you see it? I don't see
Exactly,
it.
exactly. So, and I definitely like to give audience either as a performer or as a painter, as an artist, something to feel,
Mm-hmm.
to connect with, not only to think about. There are enough things that make people think,
Yeah,
you know? It's a language that doesn't need think, it needs feeling. It needs emotions. It doesn't need facts. It doesn't matter for the painting what size it is. It just matters what it contains and what emotional baggage it gives you to deal with, what reactions it brings you, what communication it makes you experience with uh, with shapes and colors on a you know
Reminds
on
me
a
of your cards.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
So I'm fascinated by creating a language where you don't need to speak. And music is like this, and painting is like this, definitely.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And because I'm fascinated by connecting to people without speaking to them.
Yeah.
When I can make people laugh without talking to them and without even them seeing me, just by watching one of my paintings, you know, I'm a stand-up comedian in a language that I don't even speak.
Yeah. K-
Um, so I, for me, art is all about communication and expression, of course.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely very, very emotional. It's it comes to as a contrapunct point to whatever happens in the world that you need to think of and figure and calculate. And it's exactly the opposite. You don't need to do that. You just need to watch.
Yeah.
You need to allow this to work on you. And you don't need to believe that. There's no need for anything active. Just don't disturb this. And I'm sure that, I see by the reactions of non-artists to my to my art is a very different reaction than artists themselves.
Probably, yeah.
Because people that are not artists do not watch art with an ego,
Yeah.
even though they have the eyes to watch art in a much more profound way than normal people that are not artists. And it's a choice if to look at something and say, hmm, 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 or to see immediately how it works on you.
Yeah.
You know. And with my paintings, it's how it works on you. You know.
Would you mind to show some of
Some
them?
some things. Let's start with what do I have here? Let's start with prints, which are. Let me see. This is one of them.
Yeah.
It's printed on canvas and
Mm-hmm.
on a
This is
frame.
this is the images that you've created in on a
Photoshop.
yeah, on a
Yeah,
computer. Yeah.
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 There are a few of these that I have, hundreds of them, if not thousands. But no, really, I'm extremely. I do not rest. And this is another one. But these are
Yeah.
from 2000, more or less, 99, 2000.
Nice.
The next I've got something I've done in 2018, 2019, and this is on wood, and this is it's on a piece of wood,
Yeah.
and it's painted with T-Pex
Yeah.
with correction pen.
The one that I said that looks like a um
Like an
alien
alien
language.
language. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. This is also how it feels, by the way.
Uh-huh.
It feels as if I'm telling a story, because it does. It starts with something somewhere here, and then it goes here, and then it goes there, and then it goes there, and it's like a story. And at the end,
Nice.
I realize, okay, I finished the story,
Yeah.
and every person sees in it something different, you know.
That's the beauty
And
of it.
absolutely, absolutely. It's like I'm singing one song and every person hears another melody, which
Yeah.
is amazing. Um, this is another work,
Whoa,
which is on cardboard. I just opened a cardboard that I found on the street and painted on top of that with markers and
this
uh,
This is so like it sucks you in a way,
Exactly, because it needs your concentration.
and it's what if people are watching what you see? It's an actual cardboard. It's just made in
Yeah,
into a frame.
exactly. It's an actual cardboard. Uh, and I have this, which is just made on plain paper.
Yeah, it's just it's it needs you need time to look at it almost like to to be to interact with it
Yeah,
for
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And another style is, let's say, this. This I think you saw in Paris.
I think so. Yeah, this one is
Yeah, it's yes, it was in Paris when you were there.
and you can
You were there.
you can
Yeah.
look at it like that, like
Yeah, it doesn't have a up or down. It
yeah,
depends on you, because it has different, you realize different structures when you position it differently.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and I even created I don't know if you remember, an animation which is based on that, which is this continues swirling, this continues
Yeah,
going
yeah, yeah,
out, it's like an ongoing thing. Another thing that I'm doing, which I did for an exhibition in Berlin, was were collages that were made out of, because I didn't have money when I came to Berlin. I just had an apartment, very small apartment, and a lot of time on my hand because I came to Berlin to, to be a singer-songwriter and an artist. And I, I didn't have money to buy paint or anything or canvases.
uh-huh.
So I went and collected everything free that I could find and made art out of this. So it was all the free newspapers that you get that stuff your mail, and everybody else's.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I went to the litter box of the thing, and I took all the newspapers that I thought, oh, I can use this, I can use that. I went to the supermarket and I found these cardboards are the cardboards that normally are in between the
Yeah,
water bottles.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I took like 50 of them before they were thrown away, and I used them as canvases to all this. I didn't have money to buy glue, so I made glue with water and flour.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how I created a whole exhibition that was. Uh, um, I mean, I lived from this 3 years. That I was in Berlin from this and from doing walking from one bar to the next with my guitar and singing my songs. And after a while, you start to appreciate this kind of lifestyle because it's not the easiest, and you really do what you do for love. You
Mm-hmm.
don't do what you do for money because it's not a lot of money playing for 3 hours for small change,
Yeah.
you know. But it's a life experience that I would not miss for the world. And it taught me a lot about myself and being resilient, and brought me to a place where I could believe in myself more than before.
Yeah. And you have one on your hand as well. Your arm.
Yes, this is one of my. I did this drawing. I tattooed it in Tel Aviv in last year, I think. But I drew it in Toronto, in Canada, when
Mm-hmm.
I worked at the Canadian Opera Company there, and it's the first drawing of mine that I'm tattooing because I've got other tattoos, but this is the first work of art of mine that
Yeah.
I tattooed, and I, I felt very empowered by it because it's really, um, it's something that did not exist there before I started drawing, and now it's on my hand for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I enjoy that. I enjoy creating.
And I remember when we were talking, you mentioned when you begin to create, to paint, you were doing how many paintings per day?
It depends what size, but I was definitely very prolific. There were in the time of COVID lockdown in Paris. I think that I used to paint something like 12 paintings a day,
Uh-huh.
just because I just had time and it was a real lockdown.
Yeah, yeah,
And I had my terrace in Paris and my vlog, which was like 10 minutes a day, 20, that's it.
yeah,
And the rest of the day I was just drawing mainly because I was traveling, so I was drawing what, you know, on recycled paper, on bags, on paper bags and whatever, because I didn't even have a place to buy canvases.
yeah.
But I enjoy that. I enjoy being creative. I enjoy the process.
And I think I've heard that all of us, all people are creative. It's just that in a different way,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and it's also very important to let that creativity express itself somehow.
Uh, it came with, it came with us
Yeah, yeah.
for a reason. It's not there. It's not like parts. Oh, what is this part for? I don't know. It's not this. It has a purpose there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this thinking of profession and private will definitely change in the future because how many I don't know, drivers I know that are fantastic musicians.
Yeah, yeah,
How many nurses I know that want to be you know sculptors,
yeah.
sculpturers. Yeah. Um, and today we see it as a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the whole way of thinking about hobby and free time, and because the minute you create something that you like, you don't it's not work.
Yeah, of
And
course.
you create it not because you need to create it because you get paid for it. You create it because you love to create.
Mm-hmm.
And each one of us has this, even the people who like to clean like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
When they clean, it's not work.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. When I clean, this is like I'm like Sisyphus
Yeah.
because I don't see that. I mean, yeah, there are people that this is what they like, and if this is the line of work that they choose to themselves, they don't work. They just enjoy themselves all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be the next, as I see it, the next level of occupation. It's not going to be a work anymore
Mm-hmm.
because the whole monetary system is going to be changed. I
How,
think
how I can't wait for that. For the
it's again, it's a process. We know what we don't want. We don't want leeches.
yeah.
We don't want thieves and leeches. So
And
two less things to know to want,
mm-hmm.
and it will come. It will come. It's
I
just we need to learn patience as well.
yeah, I've spoke with you about that I feel like uh I I came here from that kind of time where there was no fluff and bullshit
Yeah,
and
yeah, 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 yeah.
trading, and here I made this, here can have that. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
okay, I made this, have that.
yeah,
I can do that. What you can do? I
yeah,
can paint. All
exactly.
right,
Yeah,
it's so in if you look at it, in a linear time. I was born in '92, which you know, and it doesn't. It was already gone that time.
yeah, yeah.
But still,
But what you have is memories.
yeah, when I think about it, it feels so natural. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's how it's supposed to be.
yeah, absolutely.
The
We were talking about Toronto.
Yeah.
In Toronto, I had dinner with one of the people that work in the theater. Um, they're like a very important guy in the management of the theater, and
Yeah.
he wanted to thank me for my work in the theater, and we had dinner together. And I understood that he's a banker. I mean, he was dressed as a banker, spoke as a banker, very
Mm-hmm.
nice banker, but still a banker. And um, and I told him, but I think that very soon, I didn't know what I was saying, but very soon the whole money structure in the world will have to change. He says, "Yeah, really? What do you think? What do you think will happen?" I said, "Well, I think the gap between um, rich people and poor people uh, goes into, I mean, it goes only into one direction. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this direction, I don't want to be there when it reaches the crucial point because it will be a revolution. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the banks didn't really learn from Marie Antoinette at all, and um, and I fear for bankers one day that they will become the next Marie Antoinette if they don't learn how to distribute wealth in the world. And he said, what do you mean? He said, it's very easy actually, because the banks anyway hold all the money in the world. Yeah. So, and of course, every person more or less has a bank account in a normal world. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So why not give every person every month something like a salary, let's say, that eventually at the end of the month will find itself back in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how, in a few years, just a few years, we'll understand that we don't need money.
Yeah.
And I told him the story of,
Please
uh,
tell it again because I love that story.
it's a very long story.
It's not that
It's
long.
a very long story.
It's not that long.
A guest comes to a town
Yeah.
and he says, I want to rent a room for a week.
Yeah.
And the owner of the hotel says it's $100.
Yeah.
And the guy says, okay, gives him $100, goes up to his room.
Mm-hmm.
The hotel owner calls the baker and says, I've got you $100 here.
Uh-huh.
He gives him the $100. The debt is erased.
Yeah.
The baker goes to the bus driver, said, listen, here's the $100 that I owe you.
Yeah.
Okay? Debt is gone.
Yeah.
The bus driver goes to the hooker. He says to her, hey, remember the 100 that I had to give you? Here's the 100. The hooker said, okay, debt is gone. Next time, happy to see you.
Yeah.
The hooker takes the bill, goes to the hotel manager, and says, remember, I needed to give you money for the rooms that I rented. Here's the $100. And he says, okay, your debt is erased. And suddenly the man that came in the first place to rent the rooms comes to the hotel manager, says, listen, I don't really like this hotel. Can I have my money back? And the hotel manager says, "Sure, here's your money."
I love that story.
And this is how everybody wins, nobody loses, and no money actually changed hands.
Yeah.
So the minute you understand this, and you understand that you're working actually not for yourself, that you're working for a bank, because everything is connected to a bank. Your boss is connected to a bank. The bank of your boss is connected to another bank.
Hmm.
So the minute you understand that banks is actually like an organism like mushrooms, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And but we don't get to pick them. We just get to grow them.
Hmm.
So someone else picks them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody else, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think, what is it? Are we on 3 hours already? uh,
Of I don't know. It says
2:45,
it
yeah.
says here 4 or 9. So
Yeah.
it's more than 4 hours that we're chatting.
That's normal, but the
Everything is yeah.
I feel the story was like a great,
Ending for
yeah, because
the cherry. It was the cherry.
it's amazing. It's funny because it's true and it's so ridiculous in the same
Because it's
way.
true, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, well, that was another great chat as always. I
Well, I'm always, always, always happy to talk to you, my dear friend, and I congratulate you from the bottom of my heart for being brave and listening to your intuition and doing this. This is, I'm very, very proud of you.
Thank you.
Very proud of you.
Yeah, thank you, and I'm happy too, and I'm happy that we finally, because it's you were probably one of the first people that I thought about when thinking about the podcast. That's
Yeah,
why I'm
it
saying
was,
finally, because it's what
yeah, yeah, yeah.
fifth or sixth episode, fifth, I think.
Yeah, it was challenging a bit. My environment was challenging a bit
Yeah, yeah,
until yesterday.
I know. Yeah, so we finally did it, and
Yes.
I'm sure we're gonna do it again.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I mean,
Yeah,
I keep hitting you up with information every time I see something that I think, oh, Basil would like that. I need to share this with Basil. So
yeah,
absolutely, yes,
yeah.
yes.
Well, okay then. It was a honor, a great time s- conversing with you for as always, and I hope people get at least something from our conversation.
I'm sure. I'm
I
sure.
I
You
always
know,
say that even a small something is a win for me. Like one person or
absolutely.
one changed mind
Hmm.
is a big win for me because
And not only for you, it's for the whole planet, you know?
exactly for the collective consciousness.
Because this is what we do. We raise the vibration of everybody we know.
Yeah, because people, if people don't know that, even if one person changes its his or her mind, and with that raises their vibration and all that, it affects
The collective.
the whole collective.
Absolutely.
So one person is a lot,
Hmm.
even though it might not seem like that. It is a lot. It's affecting everything. So I my very it's a very strong intuitive feeling that we're going in a great direction.
Absolutely.
Even
Absolutely.
even though things might not seem like it right now currently, but
Do you know when things are uncomfortable?
when there's
When
a
growing.
yeah, when there's a change
Yeah,
ahead.
exactly.
So I can't wait, and for I guess thanks everyone for listening. Thank you, Raphael, for being my guest here today,
Thank you
and
for inviting me.
you're welcome. And I guess I wish everyone a great day, great night, weekend, whenever people are listening. And we'll be here again next week with maybe either with just myself or somebody else. And up until then, have be positive. Everything we're going to a great direction. Everything is gonna be
Absolutely.
fine, and don't let the current craziness let you
Get to you.
get to you and affect you and make you think that oh, it's the end of the world. It's the
Yeah,
end of the world that we know it,
exactly.
but maybe something better is coming.
Definitely something better is coming.
Yes,
And I agree with everything you said. And I know that this is definitely a challenging time of growth and of expansion, but it's also a wonderful time to contemplate and to take things to another level inside ourselves. And I'm 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 very optimistic that we are on the right way. Yeah, I
definitely,
feel that. I feel that.
definitely, yeah. And with that, we can close today's episode for almost 3 hours. It's not a big deal. It's still not 5 hours, so
That's true.
yeah. Okay, so thanks everyone again for listening. See you next week, and bye bye.